This is the new Stark Varg 1.2, and today we're gonna ride it and give you our first impressions. Before we get into riding, let's go over a few of the similarities to the previous model and the differences between this new one. Starting out with the similarities, it pretty much looks like the exact same bike. It is really hard to tell a difference. A couple of distinct things that will show you a difference is the phone and the phone mount, but most people aren't going to see that. However, it is a way better phone than previously. It has better connection to the bike. That last phone had some issues. This phone is super solid. It's been really easy to get it to connect and continue riding off of that. One of the biggest improvements that they've made to this bike so far is the battery size. The previous model had a 6.5 kilowatt hour battery. This one's got a 7.2 kilowatt hour battery, which is roughly 20% more than the last model, and the weight still remains to be the same according to Stark's specs. I have yet to put both bikes onto a scale, but they're claiming 260 pounds. The bike doesn't feel any different when I'm lifting them on a stand in comparison. So I believe that mainly because they increased the battery, but they changed the chassis on this bike. So they actually made the chassis out of a different metal that has more flexible characteristics, but still a higher strength quality than the previous chassis. So not only does it have better feel to the ground, it is stronger and it is lighter, apparently 0.9 kilograms lighter than the previous chassis. So those are all some pretty awesome benefits on this bike so far. Most things remain the same. The suspension's still the same. They did put a new chain guide on this bike that is a lot better for deflecting things. On the 1.0, the original bikes came with a different controller and motor. They changed that to the second gen 1.0, and this 1.2 still has that second gen motor. They also managed to increase a little bit of the torque output on this bike in comparison to the last one. Not enough to really notice a difference because this bike is still insane. Horsepower wise, it is still the same. I've got the 60 horsepower version. You can get the 80 horsepower version. They're both the exact same bike, but all you have to do to get that 80 horsepower is just spend a little bit more money. Truth be told, riding this thing, you'll never really want more than 60 horsepower unless you're just doing a drag race or something along those lines, because 60 horsepower is insane. I've been riding this bike so far back to back with my 450, and the power on this is incredible. It's also just unreal how good this bike plants to the ground and how good the suspension feels. It is a bit stiff. Once you get it broken in, you really get a good understanding of how it feels and how it corners. And it is incredible the way that they made this bike work straight out of the box. I've put a lot of work into my 450, a lot of time, a lot of money in maintenance. This thing, right out of the package, you don't have to do anything to. I've literally done a graphics kit just because I like how it looks, and a set of wheels because Warp 9 wheels are awesome. But the wheels on this bike that come OEM are so good you don't need to do anything to them. Another huge improvement that they made to this bike is...
Brett, you were laughing before you...
Another huge improvement on this bike is in the brakes. Previously, it had a Brembo front brake and a rear formula brake. They changed the rear to be a formula now, so that is massive because the feel of these brakes is way better. I've only got about an hour and a half on this bike so far, but it already feels night and day more put together than that previous Varg. Even down to the stand and the charging on the bike. The way that the stand works, they've got now an adapter plug that works seamlessly. So whereas before, if you wanted to switch to 240, you had to actually take apart the stand, put in the 240 plug. Now you've got the option to have both 240 and 120, no problem, just with an adapter. So that is massive. This bike overall has a lot of new features, even though it looks to be the exact same machine as previously. And something else that's really cool is the new phone app. This phone app is gonna come to the previous phones as well through a firmware update, but the new phone app has got a ton of different features that are really cool. Sadly, to access a few of the features, you do need to pay for a subscription, but those features are extremely cool. You can track your lap times. You can get all sorts of cool insights and telemetry out of this phone. Might be worth diving into in a future video, everything that's going on within that app. But that is a super cool thing, because previously when I wanted to track lap times, I would have to usually get a Lit Pro. It's a GPS you mount onto your helmet, and then you have to pay for a subscription on that as well. Everything is now built into the phone. They've done a lot of cool updates. They've got a walk mode, they've got reverse, they've got fully adjustable horsepower. If you pay for that subscription, you can even adjust the feel of the throttle. So tons of cool features, tons of improvements on the new 1.2. That battery life is a huge one. So I'm excited to get out there, actually ride it, show you guys what this bike is all about. I've also got a lot of friends with me today, and for most of them, it's gonna be their first time ever riding a Stark in general. So let's go ahead and dive into some riding and show you guys what this bike is all about.
Here, and today we're going to work on beginner cornering. So if you're new to riding, this is going to be a great video for you. When you have a setup zone, you have an acceleration zone, but it's very, which is what a lot of people don't teach is.
Oh! You good, bro?
That tutorial sucked.
Ride her down. Ride her down.
Pretty nuts now. Right off the bat, this bike just feels so planted. It's a little bit dry, a little bit slick out here today, but this bike still just fits into its rut, corners so well. And picks up speed like no other. So even though it's a little bit sketchy out here, this thing takes it like a champ.
What up? I'm Andrew Davis. This is the first time on the... Sorry guys, I'm just gonna
Freaking Stark guys, dude.
Interesting. Well, I did have something to say. Now I'm just focused on taking him out.
Alright.
But no.
I don't know how to explain it, but like the version before this, like I felt like my body language and everything, you had to be like way more like aggressive to get, like it was fast, but like I definitely feel like I had to move a lot more, where this one I almost have to be like more patient. Basically you can be way more patient and almost slow your whole pace down and aggression down, and you're going like twice the speed. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like coming through this corner, I'm like, I feel like I like gotta do this on every other bike, and then this one I'm just like, and I'm going, and it just still keeps climbing away from me. I'm like, holy shit, this thing doesn't top out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you can ride this thing way more patient, and it doesn't feel like super twitchy.
What up? I'm Baxston Stout. I've ridden a Stark like 2 times on flat ground at the sand drags, and it's like my first impression on the Stark 1.2.
Oh! Oh!
He's on a very thin line of losing it, actually.
Yeah, okay, I see exactly what you mean. Where you don't have to like fight it as much. Like,
No.
you can just slow down, go smooth. It's not gonna like, it just stays planted. It doesn't like unpredictably do anything on you.
No.
And then coming out of the corners, it's like, it just doesn't stop.
You rode that corner way better than you've hit it on your 250.
Yeah, no, this. Compared to gas bikes, like it doesn't bog. You just have all the power right there at the tip of your fingers. But it's not like twitchy. It's all smooth power. Like you can control it so easy.
What's up, guys? I'm Chase Hammond. I typically ride a KTM 450, but Brett brought out the Stark today, so I want to try this thing out. It's my first time trying an electric bike and a Stark. This thing's awesome, dude. I'm more mind blown how planted you feel to the ground on cornering. Like ruts are easy to stay in, corners you can blow through. It's just the handling, dude. I feel like wherever you put the bike, it's gonna go. It's the hand brakes also. I feel like when I'm cornering, I don't have to worry about my foot hitting the back brake. My feet are already in position. I can just tap the back brake right here and like, my footwork's good. I can corner so much better, and I really feel like it's the hand brakes up here.
All right, you've seen a bunch of first impressions from people. Let's show you a lap on a Stark and a 450. All right, we'll do a dead stop start on the Stark, and then I'll switch over to a 450. So let's go ahead and run a lap on this bike. That's a lap. All right, now we're on the 450. Let's go ahead and run a lap. Exact same way we did on the Stark. And let's see how it goes. Well, the sun came out, the dirt dried up, so we're gonna be packing it up. But that was super fun to ride this bike back to back with a bunch of other gas bikes and a couple of riders that still haven't even ridden a Stark. So it was really cool to see their impressions on that. And I have to agree, this bike feels way more put together than the last bike did. The last bike is still incredible, but this one, just something about it feels way more crisp, feels way more planted. I'm really a big fan of this bike. On the last bike, I didn't really enjoy the suspension very much. On this bike, for some reason, the suspension just seems to match the feel of the bike overall way better. It corners incredibly. It feels way more put together. Even as the dirt was drying up out there, this thing was way more easy to control and corner in loose conditions in comparison to me on my 450. I've got a lot of seat time on that 450. I really enjoy that bike. This bike just felt so put together, so easy to ride. It's really a super fun bike. I'm super impressed by the new Stark Varg 1.2.